It's happened to or someone you know. In fact, 3 out of 4 students have experienced it. According to some studies, it can happen once every 7 seconds on the playground. On this week's edition of Go See the Sky, we're talking about bullying. One of the best ways to prevent it? Wear pink. Hello and welcome to this edition of Go See the Sky. I'm your host, Vanessa Ibarra, coming to you this week from Valley Cliff Elementary, where you can see behind me the kids have made a kindness quilt, all part of Pink Shirt Day, taking part February 25th. So what is the story behind Pink Shirt Day? Well, in 2007, 2 students in Halifax, after hearing of one of their own students being bullied for wearing the color pink, they organized for everyone to wear the color. And as they say from there, the rest is history. Today it takes place in over 84 countries worldwide. Last year in BC alone, Pink Shirt Day raised $800,000 to go towards anti-bullying programs. So tell us, what is your promise to end bullying? Send us a comment on Instagram and on Twitter, #PinkShirtPromise, and we'll tell you at the end of the show what you have a chance to win. Well, this week on Go See the Sky, we're paying tribute to the people making a difference in their community, just like the folks at Pink Shirt Day. Starting with Peter Kent, we found out what drastic measure the councillor is taking to ensure more youth vote. It was a move he promised to make. City Councillor Peter Kent steps toward completing his first election promise.
Everybody's asked me if I have nerves. Not really, because I'm in really good hands. We've done hundreds of these things.
The former Hollywood stuntman, having worked as Arnold Schwarzenegger's body double for 14 years, vowing to light himself on fire if Squamish's voter turnout increased in last fall's municipal election after a dismal 38% in 2011.
I think there was a lot of voter apathy. I think that it mainly comes from the younger voters who just feel disenfranchised. They feel like, well, what's the point? What am I? No one's going to hear my voice.
Kent's idea to change those viewpoints spreading like wildfire, with votes jumping to 47%. Holding true to his word, around 200 locals and media braved the pouring rain at the Loggers Sports Ground to witness the spectacle.
It's really cool. When do you ever get to see someone light themselves on fire?
He's a professional, so I have faith in him and his team.
I'm excited to see it, and I'm also excited that voter turnout was up this year.
Whether that excitement will trickle over to City Hall remains a question. With a 22% voter increase in last fall's municipal election, it appears voter interest is heating up here in Squamish. Or is it? With a 60% of the population here in Squamish under the age of 40, we took to the streets to find out if our younger population really cares what goes on at City Hall.
I'm not very interested in politics at all. No reason in particular. Nothing seems to change.
I don't want to do it too much. I just kind of do my own thing around town, go to school.
I really care what happens at City Hall. And the one thing that I found out this year was that you can make a difference. And with voter turnout, we actually managed to get a new mayor in Squamish. We have largely a new council. So we're actually seeing the results of voting happening.
I care a lot about what goes on at City Hall because Squamish is a pretty small town, and so you do get to see a lot of the effects.
Yeah.
While an improvement, it's that still split mindset Kent is going to great lengths to further change.
So what we have on now is the first layer of underwear infused with the stunt gel.
His team carefully dressing him in 3 layers to protect his body from the flames. With Squamish recently ranked number 32 of top 52 places to visit by the New York Times, Kent is also looking to reach out to Quest University and high school students for online strategies to get the city further on the map. Like any change, it begins with attitude.
We're at a very pivotal turning point right now in this town's history. The youth are the people who are going to take it over eventually, and they're going to have to deal with the mistakes of the past. Get out there and make a difference, and you really can.
Don't try this at home.
And with that, it's time for the big show. Blazing a trail for future generations with a little smoke along the way. In the words of Peter Kent, Squamish is on fire, literally. If you'd like to have your say in how our city is governed, be sure to attend the Squamish City Hall meetings that take place every other Tuesday. Well, if setting yourself on fire doesn't exactly get your adrenaline going, the sport in our next story is guaranteed to. Open year-round, Whistler Bungee is the place to take your love of extreme sports to the next level. And if there's anyone who knows about pushing the limits, it's Pete Crutchfield.
Nicole.
Hi, Matt.
Welcome to Whistler Bungee.
For 10 years, I've avoided this moment. Skydiving, paragliding, landing a plane, been there, done it. Now jumping off the Whistler Bungee Bridge, not my idea of a good time.
I had nightmares last night.
When you got your toes on the edge and you're ready to jump, it's going to freak you out, but you got to remember how safe everything is, and you just have to take the leap.
And not in the metaphorical sense. So I called in reinforcement. Meet Pete Crutchfield, a para-alpine sit-skier, comedian, and most importantly, not a gentleman who's going to insist on ladies first.
Are you the kind of guy that would push a girl off a bridge?
Absolutely. Without even hesitating.
Just the man for the job. Pete has jumped 6 or 7 times. He's lost count.
You don't even break out the duct tape anymore. First time we did it, no one had done it before. So yeah, we wrapped me in duct tape. It was hilarious.
Normally, Pete jumps on what he calls Indie Day. Indie as in I'm not dead yet day. 16 years ago, he broke his neck skiing on Whistler Mountain. Every year, he lets the mountains know they haven't licked him yet.
So I go do something like bungee jumping or skydiving or helicopter skiing if I'm lucky. And yeah, just that happens every year on April 21st. It's my first time doing it in the winter.
Snow-covered trees and mountaintops, the glacier-fed Cheakamus River below. I refuse to look down, despite knowing this bridge comes with a clean bill of health, with more than 100,000 jumps over the past 10 years.
We have a perfect safety record. We've had no major accidents here. It's extremely safe, and yeah, we're very proud of that.
I thought hoisting Pete over the rail, wheelchair and all, would improve my confidence. Can we get a replay on that? Look at his expression. Not a care in the world.
That was insane. I thought this was going to make me feel better, but I'm actually more nervous now. Man, you're not going to plunge me in the river, are you?
I'll try not to.
Try?
It was my turn. Instead of an old school ankle jump, I opted for the chest and waist harness setup.
You get better rebounds. You probably launch about 15, 20 feet higher on your bounces.
Enjoy it.
Is this supposed to be fun?
It's supposed to be a lot of fun.
Is this supposed to be fun?
Relaxing almost.
All right.
It's like a day at the spa.
This is not a day at the spa. This is definitely not a day at the spa.
Not even close. But no skill is required. Only gravity and nerves of steel come into play.
I don't know, Pete's kind of keeping me distracted.
Everybody has fear, right?
Over here.
The more you deal with it, the more practice you get, the easier it is to work with.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, so I'm gonna put my hands on Pete.
And with those words, my fingers were torn off the bars, and I leapt like an astronaut into space.
Nicole, how was that?
That was incredible. That was amazing. Look at my hands. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. That has been 10 years too long waiting to do that.
One fear conquered, I suddenly wanted to line up more. With Pete, of course, only too happy to nudge me along.
Oh, Pete, you're right.
From Whistler, I'm Nicole Fitzgerald for Shaw TV.
What are we going to do next?
Bobsleigh.
Bobsleigh it is.
Never been bungee jumping, but gotta say, if there's anyone to inspire you, it's Pete. What a great story. If you've got any pictures of your extreme sports you've done, including bungee jumping along the Sea to Sky corridor, we'd love to see them. Send it to us on Facebook and Twitter at Go Sea to Sky, and you can view all of our stories as well in HD on our YouTube channel, Whistler Shaw. Well, don't go anywhere. We've got tons of great stories still coming to you on this week's edition of Go Sea to Sky, coming to you from Valley Cliff Elementary. Later in the show,
I was elated that snowboarding got named to the 2014 program.
One athlete's mission and victory adding snowboarding to the Paralympic Games. So what is your pink shirt promise?
Being nice to people. Try not to be a bystander, because being a bystander is not helping the situation. Giving nice compliments and being very nice to other people. Just acts of kindness.
Yeah, like try to
be kind to everyone.
Yeah, and stand up for yourself.
Yeah, and everyone else. If people are feeling not included, to let them come in and join the game. We have to include everybody for playing and stuff, so then they don't get their feelings hurt.
Welcome back to Go See the Sky here on Shaw TV. I'm your host, Vanessa Ibarra, proudly wearing my pink in support of this year's Pink Shirt Day taking place February 25th. And as you can see, I'm not the only one. We're here at Valley Cliff Elementary in Squamish, where the kids behind me have made a kindness wall. They're sending little heart notes to one another, letting them know what they appreciate about each other, and the end result, of course, ending bullying. So now let us know, what are you vowing to do to end bullying at home? You can send us a note on Instagram and on Twitter, hashtag Pink Shirt Promise, and we'll let you know at the end of the show what you could be submitted to win. Really good prize pack. All right, well, whether you need to clear your head from school or just carve up some fresh powder on Blackcomb or Whistler Mountain, we can all agree there's nothing more exhilarating than snowboarding, a sport that, thanks to one Paralympian, all athletes can now take part in.
Standing to wax his snowboard, Tyler Mosher has overcome the unimaginable.
I was never supposed to walk again.
On December 30th, 2000, Mosher broke his back while snowboarding after falling 10 meters and landing on the top of his head.
My back exploded. L1 vertebrae totally exploded, like a grenade going off in your body. It ended up being an incomplete injury, and I got back the muscles that enabled me to walk, although I'm still medically 40% paralyzed below the waist.
Preparing his board to head up on the mountain for training, this world champion adaptive snowboarder will represent Canada during the 2014 Paralympics, the first time the adaptive sport will be included in the Games.
I was in the legislature with Rick Hansen May 2nd, 2012, when the announcement came out, and I was elated that snowboarding got named to the 2014 program. And in many ways, I won my gold medal on that day.
Stacking his bones as though he's walking on stilts, Mosher heads down the 100 steps from his house. Just getting to the mountain is a feat in itself, but one that he's proud to say he's able to do.
It's a tough go, because realistically everyone's telling you that you're going to need to be in a wheelchair, and it's upsetting, but you don't dwell on what you don't have. You get through by looking at what you do have.
This won't be his first Paralympic Games. Mosher's cross-country rehabilitation led him to compete for Canada on home turf in 2010. The goal then was not to win a medal, but gain experience as a Paralympic athlete that would help him put snowboarding in the forefront of adaptive sports.
I was constantly pursuing the development of racing for the disabled in snowboarding, so that it would be funded at the grassroots level, so that children living with a disability who wanted to snowboard with their friends would have the opportunity to snowboard.
13 years after his accident, Mosher is going for the real gold. Constantly working on his technique, snowboarding isn't as easy as it once was. He must be focused, completely in tune with his mind, body, and board, telling his muscles exactly what to do. He must train hard so that when race day comes, Mosher can simply look through his lens and go as fast as he can.
I'm going there as a frontiers person and a pioneer for adaptive snowboarding. I'm going there to represent my country, but I'm not going there as a tourist. I'm going there to win.
From Whistler, I'm Heather Butts for Shaw TV.
Mosher placed 12th at last year's para snowboarding event at the Sochi Paralympic Games, and since then he's actually announced his retirement from competing. So if you want to learn more about his history and what he's up to now, you can visit him online at tylermosher.com. Well, with today all about Pink Shirt Day, talk about bullying, here are some statistics for you. According to prevnet.ca, 1 out of 4 students admit to cyberbullying, 25% of them as well admitting to doing it in the last month alone. So what are the targets? How do you know if you're a target for bullying? Well, again, studies show, unfortunately, physical disabilities, sensitivities, and sexual orientation can play a role, a reality that one teen is hoping to change here in Squamish. Since early elementary, 18-year-old David Thompson knew he was different.
Can I just grab a coffee? I liked different things than the other guys. Like, a lot of them would do, you know, crazy sports, and I'd want to hang out and, like, collect rocks or, you know, pretend I'm a mermaid or something. Like, I had different interests than the other guys.
Well, today the Squamish resident feels safe openly exploring those differences. Growing up was a different story. Thompson repeatedly bullied for his sexuality between the age of 8 and 14. As middle school approached, those taunts turned to violent measures.
In grade 5, I was actually tied to a pole by some of my peers and was beaten and then left there for 2 hours. And that was during school time and no one came. It was tough, for sure. It was tough.
A dwindling voice with even dire resources, Squamish lacking the services for bullied, depressed, or simply socially isolated LGBTQ members such as David to turn to in the mid to late 2000s. And then there was Margot Dent.
I went to a conference in 2011 that said 2 out of 3 boys are targeted and teased for being gay, whether they're gay or not. And my concern was the impact that then has on the mental health.
Hey.
Hey, David. How are you?
Good, good.
Good to see you.
Awesome.
What do you think of the space?
I love it.
Dent, a local volunteer and mental health worker, pairing up with Howe Sound Secondary to form Squamish's first diversity club in 2011, a weekly open discussion meeting group for LGBTQ students such as David, along with teens struggling with cultural, racial, and even body issues to gather, with judgment the only thing off the table.
I love it.
I'm actually really super excited. We run the gamut, and it can be anything from, did you see what was on Facebook last night, to did you see that commercial? We definitely cover sex and sexual issues and gender. The need for youth to have a safe space to talk about big issues that are sometimes really huge and parents don't want to talk about.
The liberal-minded meetup quickly becoming one of the most popular hangouts at Howe Sound. Diversity's participants ranging from 20 to 50 teens a session. Every question, every answer, one step closer to the truth.
I just thought it was the best thing that could have ever happened to the school. I mean, it was a free support group. It had resources. It answered every question I could have ever asked. It was everything I needed.
We'll have to ask them to clear out all this space, but it's nice they've at least given us a place to be, hey?
Oh, totally. No, it's...
Now graduated 3 years later, David is paying back that gratitude. Helping Margot turn this room into a similar diversity club for young adults such as himself to continue receiving social support here at the Squamish Youth Resource Center. The program, a joint collaboration between Quest University and the Safe and Sound Advocacy Group, co-founded by Margot last fall. With Squamish also set to have its first all-day LGBTQ conference come May, it's safe to say the city's colors have never been so bright.
Having students like David really helps to lead the conversation because we didn't want it to be adult-led. I think last year there was a lot of self-discovery that happened and he's been doing a lot of work on himself.
That work and healing, all thanks to one woman's voice.
I love that woman. I mean, she's really like a mother to me. She really has formed an amazing community that never would have existed without her.
David's hope that one day there will be a diversity club in all BC schools, a place to seek solace and stop bullies in their tracks.
Kids are coming out at a lot earlier ages now, and it's easier. It's just a lot easier to be out in Squamish, and it's exciting.
Safe and Sound Someone Like Me one-day conference takes place May 9th at the Eagle Eye Theatre at Howe Sound Secondary. To learn more about the group, visit facebook.com/Safe and Sound. Well, don't go anywhere. We've still got so many great inspirational stories to bring to you this week on Go See the Sky, coming to you from Valley Cliff Elementary. Coming up,
Lena's cancer is never, ever, ever, never coming back.
how a sister's love helped overcome the unimaginable. So what is your pink promise?
Well, I like to be nice to people because if they're left out and feel lonely, I want to help them.
I vow just to be a bit nicer to people because a kind word never goes unsaid, and sometimes a bully needs a friend too.
You can't be a bystander, and as Seisha said, you don't know what's going on in the bully's life. They could be being bullied at home.
I include a lot of my friends and some strangers if I don't know them. And to stop bullying, I usually stand up for them and don't be a bystander.
My pink shirt promises to be nice to the bully, and if it bullies me, I wouldn't be mean to the bully. I'd just talk nicely to it and sort it out with the bully, be friends with them.
I'm trying not to tease people and share well.
My pink promise would be to help the people that got bullied, and helping them, we can then have a group and talk to the bully. And then he might be feeling sad and stuff, so we'll be friends with him and stuff, and then he'll stop bullying people.
Hey, and welcome back to Go See the Sky, only on Shaw TV. I'm your host, Vanessa Ibarra, coming to you this week from Valley Cliff Elementary here in Squamish, where we're gearing up for Pink Shirt Day, taking part February 25th. And as you can see, the students behind me have made a kindness quilt to show what they're doing to help end bullying. So let us know, what is your promise? What do you vow to do to help fight bullying worldwide? You can send us a note on Twitter, #PinkShirtPromise, and we'll let you know at the end of the show what you have your chance to win. Well, throwing to our next story of the day, the two girls in this next story likely love the color pink, almost as much as each other. So when one of them was faced with a life-threatening illness, we learned how the strength of one sister's love is the best medicine.
I always go fast, so Lena tries to catch me, and I say, Lena, try and catch me if you can.
Big sister, little sister, one chasing the other as fast as they can on their bikes. 5-year-old Frida and 2-year-old Lena Palthrop love each other fiercely, as only sisters can do. So when the eldest eagerly sprung into planning her 6th birthday for this September, Frida put some serious thought into her birthday wish, and then one day shared it with her mother. And her wish was this.
Lena's cancer is never, ever, ever, never coming back. Because it's a naughty, naughty, naughty cancer. We say go away and it just stays there. It used to do that, but now she left in Toronto.
The cancer, or as Lena sometimes puts it, the monster, was left on a Toronto operating table in September of last year, when Lena underwent surgery to remove the tumor embedded in her lower spine. She is currently in remission, still undergoing regular treatment at the BC Children's Hospital.
Altogether, we did 11 rounds of chemotherapy with not much success, and we only really had one option left, and that was surgery, spinal surgery. She lost a nerve in the surgery, and that's for her hip flexor, and so they said she might walk with a bit of a limp, but she isn't, because she's just running. She's wild and she compensates for it, and she's full of life.
A fighter, there is no walking, only running towards life, despite being diagnosed at the BC Children's Hospital with an aggressive cancer in December 2010. She was only 6 weeks old, so Lena learned to ride her bike in a hospital hallway. Stethoscopes were her favorite toy, and when asked where her favorite place in the world to go is, her answer isn't surprising.
Where do you like to go?
The hospital.
They make it fun for her. As Lena said, Dr. Dix and our nurse clinician Karen, they're amazing. They have been fighting for Lena and they really care.
The hospital staff saw Lena's first steps, heard her first words. They were there for all of a baby's milestones. And not only were these doctors and nurses there for Lena, but for Frida as well.
The hospital has made it special to her. She's had tea parties. She's seen the play therapist because we wanted to make sure she's okay. She is the most compassionate little girl you can think of. She comes in, we bring her in for scans where it's safe. She holds Lena's hands and she sings to her the whole entire scan. And it's the only thing that keeps Lena from moving, is when Frida's there. They're very close.
The love of a sister. It's not a blind adoration of little sister looking up to a bigger one. Lena dances to the beat of her own song. Her determination and fearlessness is her saving grace, one that has inspired a heartfelt birthday wish Frida is determined to see come true.
Because she's my favorite sister.
From Squamish, I'm Nicole Fitzgerald for Shaw TV.
Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Go See the Sky here at Valley Cliff Elementary. Thank you so much for joining us and celebrating people making a difference, just like the folks for Pink Shirt Day taking part February 25th. And let us know again, what is your Pink Shirt Promise? It's a big campaign this year. What are you doing to help stop bullying worldwide? You can send us a note on Twitter and on Instagram, Pink Shirt Promise, and you'll be entered to win. The best entry will be entered to win a VIP trip to the Teen Choice Awards. Also, if you'd like to pick up a t-shirt, visit any London Drugs, or also visit pinkshirtday.ca. For Go See the Sky, I'm Vanessa Ibarra.